I can wear something like this. But we're going to bring Oldecam on with comments on, or actually the headlines of the news today.
As you might guess, Not a Spring Chick isn't here today because she's having to do other things. Actually, the weather was really miserable at the beach, and we couldn't go there again. But Obama goes one bridge too far in the 9/11 mosque problems. It seems that freedoms are only Muslims for Americans, and not for Muslims, not for Americans. It seems also that the President of the United States, in his speech yesterday, his speech today, is that the Americans must learn tolerance. That these were just a bunch of bad men that did this thing. Because he still doesn't believe there's such a thing as as a bad Muslim. There's bad Christians, there's bad Jews, there's bad Protestants, there's bad Catholics. But there are no bad Muslims. BP report blames itself and others for the oil spill. Well, yeah, what else could the finding be? I mean, BP didn't do a few things here, the other people didn't do a few things there, and basically the perfect storm happened, which basically is a mathematical impossibility for everything to be open at the same time, but it seems that everything was. Here's Obama, though, on Friday. Millionaires, lobbyists, lawyers, bankers, and Wall Street are all that would profit from the extension of the Bush tax cuts for all. Well, no. Let's see, 53% of all the taxes being paid are paid by small businesses, because small businesses basically wrap their income in their personal filing, and the response to they just should change the way they file their tax reform. Well, since his people don't file tax reforms, and 49 members of his staff basically were caught on tax cheating, then he's really in no place to lecture other people, is he? Basically, Obama's tone shifts on health care. Well, at no time did I ever say it was going to save money, and that everyone knows if you add more people to the system, it's going to cost you more money. Well, that's not what he said, and his past words are all coming back to haunt him. But then again, most of the press is ignoring the fact that he said he specifically touted the fact how he was going to make health care so much simpler, so much cheaper, and basically everybody under the sun is raising their premiums, that businesses are laying off people because they can't afford Obama stuff, and parents are pissed off about the fact that they got to keep their kids on their personal policies now. I love this one too. The peace talks have went better than anyone would ever imagine in the Middle East. Well, see, the Palestinians basically are demanding that Jerusalem be handed over to them, which is a no-go. The Palestinians are demanding a separate state without any guarantees that they won't try to take the rest of Israel, which is a no-go. And that is perfect. California crews search ash-covered homes after blast. Well, yeah, I mean, the total has been as high as 7 down to 4 with people missing. The problem is that what the president doesn't understand is what most people in the country understand is the infrastructure for this nation was built at a time when labor was cheap, materials were cheap, and they didn't have to go through, a long process of environmental impact reform to see what's going to happen. I mean, today, to rebuild what was built 50 years ago is almost an impossible feat because of the expense of it. And there are people that can't charge more money to rebuild stuff because there simply isn't any more money for people to spend. Another one. Obama, voter anger could hurt Democrats in the election, but they're taking it out on the wrong people. It's George Bush and the Republicans that are responsible. Well, let's see. The Democrats took control of the House and Senate in 2006, and that's when all the problems started. Remember, under Bush, you didn't have high unemployment. You didn't have a housing collapse. It didn't happen until after the Democrats took control of the House and Senate. Then the economy collapsed, and the unemployment rate didn't jump massively until Obama became president. The instant he put his stimulus in effect, they lost 4%. The rolls just grew massively. Here's one I like. Flamboyant male dancing attracts women best. You know where to get this survey? It's not from males. It's from peacocks and other animals like that. They said, well, apes that dance flamboyantly in front of a female ape tends to get the woman's attention. Well, then why are so many dancers on the Broadway stage who dance flamboyantly without girlfriends? I guess it doesn't work on dancers in New York, does it? Basically, the Florida church didn't burn the Koran after all. Well, because they never intended to. They made a point. The President of the United States walked headlong into the point that it's all right for the Muslims to burn American flags, to pee on American flags, to dump dog do on the American flag, to burn the Bible. But God forsake it if an American does it, because we have to learn more tolerance than what we currently had. Basically, Obama's election year jobs agenda stalls. Well, because there is no desire among the Democrats to spend any more money because, well, he spent $800 billion and basically, had 8 straight months of private sector employment. But the problem is the total for the 8 months of private sector employment doesn't add up to what they need in 1 month to make the economy grow. Here's one. World Economic Forum, debt, financial crisis, hurts U.S. competitiveness, and it's all a result of the President of the United States completely out of control spending. I mean, everybody knows that, but the Democrats, unfortunately. Here's one, too. They're very proud of the fact wholesale inventory rise in July. You know why wholesale inventories rise in July? They're not selling anything. Because they're not selling anything, inventory rises, not from people ordering stuff, because if they look at the empty shelves that you have in grocery stores and department stores, they're not reordering stuff to fill those spaces because people don't have any money to spend. Oh, and then here's one. As is usual with every day from the mainstream press, it's now all over with the Republicans. The people flock to an invigorated Obama message. He's now out there in a campaign trail, throwing, showing what when you chew nicotine gum, have nicotine patches to smoke to you, it makes you go. You have wild mood swings. He attacks Republicans continually and said that we must work in a bipartisan manner, and attacks them, and then he's telling everybody how all this stuff that I spent is going to be completely paid for. Well, you can't pay for it unless you raise taxes, and you can't raise taxes because nobody has any money to spend. If they had any money to spend, the economy would be in better shape. Here, North Korea proposes talks with South on reunions of families, and then they buried it just as quick because they basically they're wanting South Korean money to come north, not their people to go south. Here's a typical government thing. Gulf compensation chief retreats from promises to speed claims on the processes. Basically, anybody knew that was going to happen because anytime you get into a government bureaucracy, they find that, unless you can absolutely prove beyond a reasonable doubt that you lost money, you're not going to get any money. And since you can't prove how many people were going to charter your boats this summer, how many people are going to stay in your hotel, how much food you'd be using, how many, all of this stuff, basically you're not entitled to anything. There's one too. Apple tackles iPhone glitches. Well, there shouldn't have been an iPhone glitch because their people are notorious for going basically just testing a thing to death to see if it works, and then to have simple things go wrong like they did. I mean, that sounds like somebody put something out on the market that wasn't up to Apple standards, doesn't it? Basically, I love it. U.S. faces growing Americanization of al-Qaeda leadership. But don't worry, the President of the United States will tell you that we're responsible 100% for this happening, and that all we have to do is do an outreach to the al-Qaeda and Taliban, and they will immediately understand that what they're doing is wrong. Well, and here, this one is real good. The circuit court in California found that the military's bans on gays is unconstitutional. Well, no, they have a don't ask, don't tell policy, which means they don't care if they're gay as long as they don't go around asking the guy next to you for a date. Here's one too. Left for Dead by MTV, music videos rebound on the web. Well, yeah, they're all over the web, but the main problem with being on the web is that you realize that providers like YouTube, Dailymotion, Veo will yank your video if it's put on their thing, and they have because they've been flagged. Well, anything from this company or these individuals are not permitted to be on the web on their stuff, so they have an automatic, this video has been rejected thing because of it. So I've known guys with major bands that have had their music videos pulled for the simple reason that the filters say they can't be played. Let's see, here we go. Referendum in Turkey raises fear of too much Islam in government. Well, the country is basically as left. It is as right wing as they come. It is a Muslim state ran by Muslims. So then we have Money Brother in the March for the Animal Kingdom. The president seem to understand the difference between what is legal and what is wrong.